Thank you, Bob and Flash. And probably along with that also goes thanks to Lee Gill and Jane Dwyer, Jane Alengi, Greg Bartlett and Bob Brown as well for all the work they've done for putting on this evening. Everything you see around you. Again, you found out quite a lot about Liz. Room 26 has been fairly quiet recently. There haven't been any sounds of screams or fainting from rubella vaccinations or anything like that. But Liz has been missed around the school. I didn't realise, but Liz came a year before I arrived at Bega High School. I thought she'd been here a lot longer than that. And I didn't find out till this evening she actually spent a year up in the same staff room with Denise Redmond. We must have known Tony Brown and Tony Hayes, sorry, and a few other bad people. So
Kevin.
And Kevin. So obviously you had good taste when you left, because that's a well-known staff room. However, this has been missed in the time that she's been away, and it's only been a short time. There are quite a lot of people who have things to say about this, and I'm going to ask Tom Gorman to come up here. He's got a few things he'd like to say about this.
Oh gosh.
I'm going to ask as part of a practicing executive to deliver the more formal part of the evening. So I'll start. As Arthur just said, Liz arrived here in the 80s, about 3 years after I had. And as you're aware, in society, we tend to have troops. Baboons have troops. Apparently Toffa Surf Club used to have F Troop. And at Bega High School, we had our own troop called GA Troop. And the members of that troop were Liz, myself, Lee Gill. Liz had just come out of the 60s.
I never ever came.
Nah, she's never left.
Lee was single and I had hair.
And Marina.
The other two members of the group were Dr. Rock, Kevin Highland, and also Marina Pitzonis. And I guess as a result of Frank and Cole doing the timetable in those hectic days, we seemed to have the lineup that they'd go to maths first with Lee, they'd come to me for science second, and I'd razz these kids up so they get to Liz third, usually sixth period. One particular time, I won't mention the boy's name, he was always interested in doing things, but he never participated very well. At this particular time, they were dragging their tail coming from maths, so I thought I'd give Liz a bit of a rev up. So we were doing some work on electricity, and the kids were dealing with induction coils at the time. So I asked them, I said, well, look, you know, perhaps to show you how the body conducts electricity, we might all join hands, which we did. We had 25 of them in the group, and threw a little bit of juice through them. This particular boy had never been the same afterwards. Every time he walked into my class, he wanted more. He wanted more, because that's the only way he could cope with Liz's class afterwards. He wanted more. But anyway, I think the five of us had a very good working understanding, and I think from that particular point on, I, as a person, noticed Liz's empathy and certainly her direction moving towards welfare. And as the years progressed, I noticed that she wound up starting to get herself involved with things like the uniform shop. And we had a real big session for a couple of years, Liz, on hygiene, if you recall, with a few of our friends who were in the GA group, where in fact one boy refused to take a shower even at home. So unfortunately I had to use some standover tactics in the old PE change room. We both walked in with a new change of clothes, said, go in, you're not coming out until you've done the deed. So we had quite a lot of interest and happiness with getting that kid to actually wash himself. It was pretty important. But Liz got herself involved with boys and girls welfare. She started uniform recycling. She also started with our SRC, she started doing the leadership, and obviously the work that she's done with the SRC has been really important in developing leaders in our school, as evidenced by every year we were winning awards with students who were being sent away for their leadership skills, and I think Liz had a lot to do with regard to fostering that. Once she was appointed as the head teacher of welfare and girls supervisor, she expanded on the programs in the school, dealing with such things as sexual harassment or shout, bullying and harassment. She was certainly working with Bruce Tate and Denise Perry in developing the program towards racial inequalities in the school. She was also actively involved in bringing in people from outside the school into the school to help with our welfare issues, such as CAMS. And what was the name of that group you always used to get that used to come in from Wollongong? I kept trying to think what that name was. Yeah, the kids. Music, dancing, all geared towards...
Oh,
Anyway, you were very big in terms of the
I was thinking you and I had a rude name for it, and I was trying to think.
Yes, there was a rude name for it, but I can't remember it either.
Sticks and stones.
Thank you. Sticks and stones.
Yeah, that was one of them.
Certainly, I think through the SRC, Liz has promoted a lot of with her SRC participation, she certainly promoted a lot of leadership amongst our students. She was actively involved in fundraising activities for the school, projects that were done for the school, as well as helping students out who needed assistance, say going on excursions. She also began the program of giving students who needed help with regard to breakfast and little lunch and big lunch. So she subsidized that through the SRC, which of course has been really appreciated. Certainly organization of school socials. It wasn't a school social unless Liz was there in the background. She also played a very important role in developing some of our courses, especially the Exploring Early Childhood, which became one of her pets. And she certainly resourced it a lot with regard to getting a lot of our girls in year 11 and 12 who were coming back to school, not necessarily engaging in university activities, but certainly taught them some of the finer points of life. Yeah, Liz? Sure.
She bought lots of babies.
Yes, thank you.
Black and white. Black and white babies.
I think all of us, once we went to school newsletters, of course we had our welfare roundup that we saw every week, that she was actively publicizing what was happening in the school. Certainly the welfare committee was an active group in the school, and certainly I believe anybody who was a year advisor at the school certainly would have gone to Liz in some way, shape or form for guidance and advice, and I think all the year advisors who have gone through the school would certainly appreciate the work that she's done there.
Here.
My head's swelling now.
I think the last thing that really stands out in my mind is the school presentations. There wouldn't have been a school presentation, whether it be a formal assembly or year 10 or year 12 formal, in which Liz took it on herself to actually actively help the year advisor, as well as go about setting up the programs, helping Julie Benny with the awards, and certainly all that background stuff that most of us would not have seen Liz was actively involved in. And I guess for me, Liz, the school was a better place with you there.
Thanks very much, Tom. I was exhausted just thinking about all those things. And Tom didn't even mention the famous snow excursions, which Liz was instrumental in starting off, and we had plenty of good fun on those as well. So.